like she usually is every day.
Perfect.
There we go.
Um,
Hey, oh, never mind.
oh, I need to obviously refresh my. Oh, that looks a little bit.
Big news. I have some important news for you.
Interesting news.
It's Blake and Aaron's Spilling the Tea with Sandy.
Cayman's top news headlines of the day from CMR.
Good morning, Sandy. How are you?
Hello.
Hey, good morning, Blake and Aaron. How are you guys doing?
Welcome back.
Good. How are you?
Welcome back.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, you were in New York City.
That's right. The Big Apple.
Did you get some of their famous salsa?
Um,
It's an old joke it's an old
The
joke
80s?
from the 80s or 90s. Yeah. I don't know. Just showing our age.
All right. What you got for us on a Thursday morning?
I don't know why I have an echo. That would be the first question. But
It's a conspiracy.
That's breaking news. Sandy has an echo.
breaking news.
Echo.
So, remember the boat captain that killed 2 people in a deadly crash?
Yes.
This was back in 2019. It was a
Mhm.
very, very sad situation.
Mm-hmm.
Sentenced to a mere 7 years
Wow.
and 1 month.
Wow.
Nobody can believe it. Everybody's like, what?
Wow. How can listen? It's what happened was unfortunate and clearly wrong. But how do some other people who drink drive and don't get long sentences like that when people are injured or killed?
Well, most people don't think this is a long enough sentence for 2
Yeah.
people dead.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying though.
So, I don't know. I feel like the
I know other things that have happened from drink driving, and
Yeah, but was this person drinking and boating?
yes,
Do they know?
actually.
Okay.
Oh yeah, he
Okay.
was sauced up for sure.
Oh, okay.
So I honestly think that the legislation around this area has got to be cleaned up. It seems to kind of be all over the place, quite frankly. And so
Sentencing.
yeah, I mean they're following sentencing guidelines, and I think the
Mhm.
sentencing guidelines are obviously just all over the place. So I think our legislators, aka the elected officials, need to go in there and make this very, very clear for manslaughter of this type involving alcohol and whatever, what the sentences are going to be. Because I think it's very, people are confused by it. They hear it and they just don't understand how they come to any of it, really.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there's some cleaning up that needs to happen. So yeah, he'll spend the next, and of course he'll only serve 60% of that, right? So it's not even 7 years. The Health Insurance Commission has announced that they are continuing to monitor the situation with Cayman First. And in fact, not only are they monitoring it, but they've actually put some conditions in place for Cayman First to operate under, including but not limited to quarterly financial reports for the year 2022, a written mitigation plan for the system integration and restoring appropriate staffing levels. So they've claimed, I mean, you guys might be aware, we've now done several reports on what's going on over there at Cayman First. We did one again, I want to say last week, Thursday, that they continue to be behind, woefully behind on paying a lot of their physicians, the people who actually accept their policy. So much so that some providers have ceased taking their policy altogether.
Wow.
There's signs in the window say, we will not take Cayman First. Yeah.
That's crazy.
So, the Health Insurance Commission doesn't want people to believe that they're not doing anything. So Cayman First has said, it's computer issues, low staff, which they fired some staff after like being around for 40 years. I'm not sure who the staffing issues or whose fault that is. But anyway, they've also requested monthly reports from them on, outstanding historical claims that are over 30 days. So they're kind of putting the pressure on now, which I think is really good because it's been an interesting situation.
Yeah, they've been my insurance for the last year, and I'm like,
have you had any
reevaluate?
Have you had any issues with?
I haven't personally, but now if other people, if physicians is going to affect me and my family, if we need to go and see someone who won't accept that policy,
yeah, that's a problem.
That's where I'm like, wait, and then finding out it was like only one informal kind of complaint, and then yet all these people are having problems?
No. Listen.
Okay, there was more complaints.
I don't know who that informal complaint is, but I know of more than one person complaining to SEMA.
Okay.
So I don't know when they say one informal complaint, I can tell you multiple people have reached out to us, people being organizations, physicians and their conglomerates and whatever. And in one instance, one organization is alleged to be owed into the millions of dollars.
Okay, so if they've been reaching out to SEMA, then why would they say there was only one informal complaint that started this?
Maybe that's what started it. They haven't really said how many they've gotten since then. So sometimes it's like the semantics of looking at exactly what they've said.
Yeah, because if you owe someone millions of dollars, that doesn't just happen in one day. That's been going on ongoing, and we should have known about this before.
Absolutely.
Detective Aaron on the case.
Anyway,
that's right. So it might have started with one informal complaint, and I think because of the nature of what's going on, it's just very, very, very challenging. So I don't know. Yeah.
All righty.
So anyway, so we will continue to keep an eye on that. And other regional news really quickly, Usain Bolt has lost millions of dollars in a theft from his investment company. Yes.
Yeah, it wasn't just basically on him, though. From what I understand about the story is it was a lot of different people. They didn't target Usain Bolt, but it was it was a lot of different people that lost money on this.
Was this a housewife?
No.
No.
This was like some people took some
stole money, basically.
Stole money from some investment place. Yeah.
Corruption everywhere. Why can't people just be good people?
However, he has said that this is his retirement fund. And I mean, when I say millions of dollars, I don't mean millions of dollars in Jamaican dollars. I mean billion US dollars, which is billions of dollars in Jamaican dollars.
Which is a lot. Exactly.
A lot of money. I mean, he's saying that this is his retirement fund.
He's going to need to get out there and do a couple more races. No, they need to find out who it is and return the money.
Engagements. Yeah. Something.
Yeah.
All righty.
Sure, there's a high school team that
they'll get him.
A coach. No,
I don't know if he'll get his money back, though.
That's the problem with this. Like the Ponzi scheme with Bernie Madoff. People didn't get their money back.
Yeah, so he has issued a ultimatum through his attorneys to the investment company that they have 10 days to find his money or else they're going to be sued. So we'll see what happens.
Wow.
All right, Sandy, thanks for the headlines this morning. We'll see you tomorrow for the Friday show.
You too. Bye.
All right, folks. That was Spilling the Tea with Sandy. That's me over on 106. Good morning, everybody. Let's get our little show on the road here. Happy Thursday.
Bigger, better, bolder. The cold, hard truth is taking talk to the next level. Right here on Bobo 89.1 FM, Cayman's community radio.
We are still spilling the tea.
And committed to being part of the change that Cayman so desperately needs. Join Sandy Hill weekdays from 7:30 a.m. for Premier Access, Cayman Voices, Truthful Thursdays, and much more. Cayman's #1 talk show is now bigger, better, bolder, and more than talk. Getting results with hot topics, consumer reports, court exposés, and more.
I've come to set the record straight. I've come to shine the light on you. Let me introduce myself. I am the cold, hard truth.
Now, from the CMR studio in Grand Cayman.
Live. Direct.
It's the cold, hard truth. Now. Join the conversation on 345-936-2626.
That number again is
345-936-2626.
All right. Good morning, folks. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I should say to myself, welcome back, Sandy. Hello. How are you guys doing? Yes, honey child. I am back and direct and live and in the studio. I've heard you guys missed me. Aw, you guys are so sweet. Thank you very, very much. Where was I? I was in the Big Apple, New York City, honey child. Yep, took a few days, a little trip with the fam. And what can I tell you? It was cold. The first day we saw some snow flurries. It didn't really snow properly, but snow flurries were definitely out and about. And I went to the Empire State Building, and one side of the building, the wind chill factor, OMG, it was crazy. The wind chill was probably making it feel like below something. And literally, it was like blowing us away. So we had to run on the other side of the Empire State Building when you go all the way at the top. But nonetheless, it was great. It was fantastic. Thank you guys so much. It was a good trip. We'll talk about it some more into the coming days. I'll tell you guys about it. I got all sorts of stuff to share with you. You guys know I like to people watch when I travel. I like to people watch. And did I have a lot of people watching to do New York, honey child? It's a very interesting city. I've been there once before when I did a little presentation at the United Nations some years back. And but that trip was literally in and out with a singular purpose. I didn't really get to make any real observations about New York. Man, do they have a garbage problem? Ugh. When they put out the trash, it's like, whoa, how much trash do you people produce? I don't know. They might claim that they're recycling, but I sure don't see. I don't see where it's making much of a difference when you see what they put out at the corner. Honey child, it is a very, very interesting situation. So anyway, we got some breaking news for you guys this morning, and I know you guys are all here for that tea. You're like, Sandy, a lot of you, when I scheduled the show last night, I had so many of you who were just as impatient as me. I thought I was the most impatient person in the world, but y'all take the cake. Tell me right now, what is it? Give me a hint. Good morning, Evelyn. Evelyn says, welcome back, Sandy. Thank you, Catherine. So good to see all the usual suspects here. Tommy is in the house. Hey, brother Tommy, what's up? Diamond Princess says, welcome back. I thank you very much. It was just a few days because I was here Friday. And then, well, I was trying to preload some stuff, and that feature was having a few issues, I must admit. But we had a wonderful Cayman Voices segment this week with Miss Ethel Barnes. Did you guys get to hear that? I tell you what, she's 87 years old, and I thoroughly enjoyed doing that interview. You know, everybody's different at 87. Now, she's at least the third person, ironically, that I've interviewed, and they've all been 87. 87 is like a magic number with our seniors. But they're all very different. Some are like so youthful and energetic, and they could talk forever. Others, you know, I got to pace it. Like at an hour, they're like, okay, Miss Sandy, I'm done with you today. You got to get out of my house. You know, she could have probably gone for another hour, honey child. We did about an hour and 45 minutes. She was amazing. And she shared so much information, talked about her concerns about our youth and our young people and kind of where we've gone wrong. And, you know, I learned such amazing things. One of the reasons that series is so important, that we as a people need to know who we are. And, ooh, honey child, I got to talk to y'all this morning because apparently there are people who come here, I want to call them Johnny come latelys, who want to dictate who we are. And it's almost laughable, but more importantly, it's actually insulting. And so we need to pump the brakes on that situation. So we will address that this morning because that was popping off while I was away. I'm very, very cognizant and aware of that situation. And what else I got on tap for you this morning? My breaking news is coming up. And I also want to talk about something that we reported right here live in the show because it was happening about someone who was using drugs and was, you know, basically had to be, I don't know if it was a formal resuscitation or whatever in town. And one singular person, because somebody said to me, ooh, because this is a politician's brother, we can expect some kickback. Honey child, I'm not business with whose brother or sister it is. The truth shall be told on this program. So I want to talk about that because one single person had to hide behind the women's group in Cayman and post a comment. So we'll talk about that one as well. So New York was great. It was cold. This is Gianna's first cold trip. So she got to put on a jacket and gloves and boots, and she was all into it, honey. Let me tell you, that girl didn't want to take her boots off even when coming back to Cayman. She's like, "Oh, where's my jacket?" I said, it's warm in the Cayman Islands, honey. Now we're back in the tropics. But yes, I had to go buy myself some gloves. I managed, I think I might have lost a pair, one glove yesterday. I'm not sure yet. Maybe it'll show up in the luggage. But there's one in my jacket pocket, and I don't know where the other one went. But anyway, I bought one of those hoodies, like covers an entire face. Like a lot of the people who work in landscaping here wear them where you can only see the eyes. I had to buy one of those to keep my face warm because my face was so cold. So I haven't experienced cold weather like that in a minute. You guys know I used to live in Florida and Tampa. And I feel like back in the 80s, Tampa used to get cold. 80s and early 90s into the mid 90s before I moved back. Yes. Listen, it would drop sometimes in the teens. I remember those days. Yeah. Anyway, freezing. And so that's what this was. It started to warm up a little bit yesterday. So yesterday wasn't too bad. But New York is cold. But I did a lot of walking. I must say I was all over Times Square, honey chat. I hope I lost at least a couple pounds because I was walking to and fro all over the place. My feet. I will be doing physio today. Trust me. But yeah, I did lots and lots of walking. I walked and I walked and then I walked some more. Ate some really interesting food. So some of you guys might have seen my hibachi video where we went and did that the night before we left. So listen, New York is just as expensive as Cayman. I don't know who y'all be crying here. They're crying down the prices, but I saw prices of stuff. I'm like, yep, those are Cayman prices. What else can I say? In some instances, probably even more. Y'all better believe that. Aliano says, yes, Lord, my addiction is back. Woo! Karen watching us in the UK. Stephen is here also watching us in the UK. Yes, honey child. Can I tell you? We're going to talk about Cayman first, KK. So I'm going to pin your comment and come back to that. Can I tell you that people were legitimately messaging me saying, listen, I'm taking your passport away. You can't travel again anytime soon. Don't even think about it. And I get it. We're like family on this show. It's a routine. Big shout out to Miss Sue McLaughlin. She was one of the people who said, Sandy, I really miss you. You're part of my routine. And as you guys know, Miss Sue recently lost her husband. And the two of them every morning would wake up with their cup of coffee and listen to the program for the last 2 years. That was like their routine. So, oh, Miss Sue, we love you. And we're so sorry for your loss. And, that's, I totally understand. I get it. Other people are like, are you okay? Because, why are you in New York? And it's like, do people not travel anymore? You don't take a little vacay? You don't do anything? Anyway, I'm back and I'm not planning to go anywhere for another minute. Jessica's like, damn, I think I missed the tea spill. Not yet, Jessica. It's coming up. Good morning. Miss Debbie's here. We'll talk about that situation in Jamaica. Child, there's so much we got to catch up on. Good morning, Alejandro. What is that little smirk on your face for? Wee Wee is in the house. For real, get a mansion in Miami or something. Who, me? I must get a mansion in Miami? What for? All right. Yeah, we'll talk about Bolt. We'll talk about the young man who got 7 years for killing 2 people. That is, to me, legitimately crazy. Olivia, good morning. Vicky says Cayman was standstill, no cuss. Oh, Vicky, was it that bad? Good morning to Sir Gregory. Wee Wee says, I miss you, but thank God you're back. Thank you guys so much. Alejandra says, you not get robbed from little kids up there, Sandy. I hear they get terrible in Times Square. No, I thankfully had nothing of that sort to report. Our fam there, Marlon's cousin, did warn us that late at night, be careful walking Times Square. But I mean, there were so many people all the time. that even one night, where did I go one night? I went out to scroll, but it gets dark there early, like literally 6 o'clock. It's like night. So I went out walking somewhere, kind of in the evening. I had Gigi with me a lot, so of course I was like holding on to her. So yeah, nothing crazy to report. Thank you, Alejandro. Vicky says, welcome back home. You need it. Good morning, Miss Bonnie. So good to see you. Richard's in the house, says, we missed you. Welcome back. Thank you. Miss Juliet says, good morning. And to all the folks listening from around the world. Yes. Miss Joy from Texas. Marshall, where are you at today? Are you in North Carolina? Orville is here. Oh, and then we have somebody on YouTube talking about girls 18 XYZ. Oh, these nasty people trying to sell their XXX stuff on my show. Come off. We just blocked them. Enrique, hello. He says the more we consume, the more garbage we produce. And we're all in that crazy race to prove who are the best consumers. Yes, honey child. KK says it's always been so expensive in New York. One of the things that I was legitimately taken aback by is the hotel. The hallways were tiny. You shouldn't be fat and live in New York, because I'm like, what? The hallways in the hotel room were tiny. It was the smallest hotel I've ever been in, ever. Miami, you get the bathroom is okay, decent size, whatever, but you get a little bit of wiggle room in your hotel. This was like 100 square feet. You don't know how small 100 square feet is till you're actually standing in it, kind of thing. Woo! And I was like, this is it. No microwaves in the hotel room. I'm like, why is there not a microwave? So the front desk said, oh, we're trying to prevent stupid people from being stupid. And I said, well, Lord, if you figure that formula out, please let us know, because that's a worldwide situation. So the one guy at the front desk, he was so funny. He's like, yeah, when people fight and do stuff, they throw the microwave at each other. And I said, hold on. People are only fighting in New York because, Miami hotels, we got microwaves. This person says, good morning, you're back. Can we get a hallelujah? Here we go.
Praise the Lord.
So as many of you guys, Kimmy says her mom has a birthday. Okay, coming up, Kimmy. As many as you know, I left on Friday afternoon. And who was at the airport when I left? Lo and behold, none other than Anna. So you guys remember Anna was on last week, and she was talking about being, what she says, strip searched. And yeah, we were both at the airport together. So we took a little selfie and, got to talk and meet in person. She was so thankful. Like, I don't think Anna is like a bad person. She's not a mean person. She's not trying to cause waves for any reason. She really legitimately feels like she was taken advantage of. And she's actually a really good looking woman. And I suspect myself, I have my theories about what was going on at customs that day at CBC, but I suspect that she might have been targeted for the wrong reason. Somebody says, is Anna transgender? No, she's, what the hell? No, she's a European woman. She's lived in New York. Actually, she's not living in New York at the moment. She's in Miami, but she's actually a qualified attorney in New York. It's so interesting how you guys are so, and I say you guys because y'all jump into all kind of conclusions. I saw an Instagram comment where somebody was like, oh, well, based on how she's dressed, and I said, this is the problem, folks. This is where we need to be very, very cautious with the narrative that we have in our head. Because what we have in our heads come out of our mouths, and it becomes part of the community discourse, right? When you start talking about how a woman is dressed, and because of how she's dressed, she deserves to be even targeted by customs for a take off your panty kind of search, I have a problem with that. Because that's the same kind of rape culture that we are facing every single day. The victimization of victims, where, because of how you look or how you dress, you deserve to be raped, or of course you were asking for it, and this, that, and the next thing. That's truly unacceptable to even be thinking that way. But for people to actually post that BS on social media, no, honey child, I just can't even comprehend why y'all are thinking that way. She can dress however she wants. And she had a friend with her, a girlfriend. And when I say girlfriend, don't y'all be getting no ideas. It was a female friend. I have no clue what their relationship is. That ain't none of my business. And I wasn't asking. But the female friend was equally as beautiful as Anna. I'm like, maybe these girls are just like, everybody's into the kind of model look these days, and they both looked awesome. Um, designer, this, that, and the next thing. I'm like, oh, yeah, look, she got some money. She's trying to chat. I've been talking to her about the real estate business. So, yeah, she seemed like a really, really nice person. And both her and her friend were very, very thankful for being able to air their concerns. And I can tell you that she has lawyered up. So I don't know what the end result will be, but we will certainly keep y'all posted because I've got her WhatsApp number and I'm keeping in touch. Now, some of y'all are really crazy because I had people messaging me. I'm like, oh, I'm not into girls, but Anna's so beautiful. Can you give her my number? I was like, y'all need to stop. Good morning, Kathy. She says, Sandy, you look great. New York was good for you. Must be that cold weather, honey chill. Thank you, Carmelie. She says you look bright and beautiful. We got Maria in the house. Gabby's here, waiting for the tea. Felicia. Another Richard says, glad you're back. Thank you. Hi, Miss Sue. She says, love you too, honey. And yes, miss you lots. Good to know you're back again. Aw. Marshall's in North Carolina. Says it's a cold morning there. Is it Miona or Miona? Good morning from New York. Hey, Nueva York in the house. Hey, girl, what's the temperature today? So one of the things I did, like, I'm not going to get into too many details today because we got a lot to cover. But when I was in New York, Marlon's cousin lives out in this little town called, it's out by the naval base. What the heck is it called again? But anyway, I felt like I took a stroll back in time when I saw her little town. It was so interesting. And they had, Monday was a public holiday. It was Martin Luther King Day. And they had a little thing in their little town square. I mean, maybe, I don't know how many people she said live in this town, but it's small. And, the police station has 20 officers, maybe. Because when I went into the police station, I'm like, you guys only have 20 police officers? They're like, yeah, give or take. I'm like, that means they probably only have 50. 2 little churches on the main road. It was just so interesting. So I got some Highland Falls and Woodbury. So I got some footage for you guys that I'm going to share with you perhaps early next week of this little town. And we're going to talk about it because there's always one crazy person in the town and they've got their crazy person. I'm going to talk to you about that because I thought that was so interesting when she was telling me the backstory. All right, Miss Debbie says New York is very expensive and the hotels are awful. Josie says, I don't have time for 20 minutes of good mornings. Can you imagine if news networks would do that? Josie, this is not a news network, girl. Where you been? Do you not know the routine here? This is the cold hard truth. And we are a community of people who love saying good morning to each other. This is very Cayman. Josie, you Caymanian? I mean, I just need to ask the question. Caymanians and Caribbean people in general love saying good morning to each other. And it's one of the things that we do here that makes us different. We're not looking to be CNN or Fox or anybody else. If you want those news networks, you can go watch them on TV. Gosh, Josie, did you wake up on the wrong side of the bed this morning? Girl, get some tea. Aliano, good morning, Lavana. Aliana says how she was dressed. What kind of position is that? Some of y'all dressed far worse. Yeah, they were trying to say that she was dressed too sexy and, making aspirations about her character based on how she was dressed. Y'all don't even know. The woman could be a virgin as far as you know. That's none of your business. But don't make assumptions like that about people. Tracy says the radio feed is cutting out. I'll speak to Chuck about it. I'm not aware of any issues, but I'll let him know. Ms. Morna is here. Jessica says how she was dressed is nobody's business. I must tell you, I was really, really taken aback by that, Jessica. So thank you. Ms. Mitzi and Leslie also here. Everybody's saying good morning. Josie, say good morning. All right, let me advise Chuck that there's some sort of an issue that he can look at on the radio side for me. Thank you. Yes. Okay, I'll let him know. I'm not sure what's going on over there at Bobo, but I will let Chuck know right now. Thank you guys for letting me know because obviously I can't hear the radio. Okay, he'll check it. Morning, Denise. Morning, Sandra. Guantanamo Bay, says Orful. Yes, they need to do something with CBC. These law enforcement individuals swear they run the show. Well, I think they need to at least do an investigation to get to the bottom of the truth. Jessica says, well, leave then, laughing out loud. This is what we enjoy as the audience. It's not everybody's cup of tea. And we've never claimed to be everybody's cup of tea. And listen, let me say something about that as well. Some mornings it's your cup of tea and other mornings it's not, right? So we have a very eclectic way of doing things on this program. So some days we're like all politics, getting the government, trying to whip them in shape. It's like, pow, take out that whip and trying to slap them where they need it, honey child. And some of y'all love that. You love the government discussions. Other days we get into the like Jerry Springer stuff, coming on here talking about your girlfriends and your relationships and your baby mama drama and how many side chicks you got. And, we indulge in it and we listen. And, but the thing about even those stories, they have a much bigger context, like societal context. I think a lot of people miss. Some people just look at it from the gossipy angle. And yes, that might be interesting for a minute. But the real issue is, you have to understand that when you're indulging in such behavior and you got all this mama baby foolishness going on in your life, you're impacting our little community because these things hurt a lot of people. And you're raising the next generation of children who are going to be caught up in this, Charlotte's web of dysfunctionality. And so that's the bigger problem is how can we, through discussion and discourse, talk about what these people are doing and how their behavior impacts our lives here as a community and as families. So even that has a place, but we don't talk about that every day. We don't do that every day. We do consumer stuff. We do a little bit of everything. And like, who said it? KK said it. No, Jessica said it. But maybe you don't like any of that. Then there are other options. You can join the 10 other people listening right now to Radio Cayman. And no shade on Radio Cayman. I mean, literally, normally they have about 10 people on YouTube. And so you're free to go over there and hear what whoever it is, the morning show. Oh, they only do it 3 times a week though, right? It's not every day. I can't remember. But anyway, you've got choices. Celine says, welcome back. We missed you. We need an extra hour of your show today. So someone said the radio's gone now. I think he might be sorting it out, maybe. Oh, honey child. I think he restarted something because I noticed that my feed dropped out as well. So let me see now. Let me check on Chuck. I don't know if he restarted. Hold on one second. Yeah, my connection's gone. All right, we got some radio issues this morning. Let me just okay, one second. Let me fix this. All right, let me give Chuck a call, honey chill. Notice he's not reading the messages. Sometimes he's on the other show. All right, I'm not gonna make any announcements until we're back on radio. We'll continue to say good morning to everybody. All right, stand by, folks. Stand by. Hey, my connection is gone and I don't see it at all on my login.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, then. Let me go ahead.
Okay. All right, he's going to check that. He's going to check that for me. All right, coming right up. All right, don't worry. We got you. Radio's giving me ulcers. Chuck, please fix it. All right, don't worry. We're coming. Someone said just switch to YouTube. All right, we're getting it. I don't know what's going on. I'm going to refresh it here in a second because I can't even see the option to log in. So something's happening there. And all right, Jackie, good morning. Sue says Hotel Edison. Where's Hotel Edison? Odette says so true, Sandy. Good morning, one and all. Debbie hates New York. Oh my gosh. Richard says, I love New York. I find that words like hate and love are kind of strong. I love Cayman, honey chill. New York, I need to see more of. I need to do another trip. There's so much to it, quite frankly, that you can't do it all on one trip. So let me refresh my radio and see what's going on. So, yes, Chuck is checking on the radio for me. Yep, still not back yet. I don't know what's going on. I don't know. So, yeah, I mean, I don't have a hate or love for it. You guys know that I lived in the States for a minute. And living in the States is different. That's why you come back to a place like Cayman, because you're not looking to live in the States, right? There's certain conveniences and whatever of that lifestyle and certain things that you probably don't always like about it. My husband said that he could never live in the city of New York, maybe on the outskirts. I was talking to her cousin about the cost of, here we go. It's back now. Let me click on it. So I was talking to her cousin about the cost of housing. Like I was trying to get a fix in housing and, how much housing outside of the city, because, housing in the city is crazy expensive. But she was saying to me that even on the outskirts, like in her little town, some of the places, apparently there's a guy who came in there and he purchased millions of dollars in this kind of, older town or whatever. So he's going to do a bit of speculative real estate. And he's hoping to, like, he purchased a church because he wants to make it into a brewery. And, people come in, developers come in, and they always want to do stuff. And they always want to make all these changes. By the way, there's an accident at the Hurley's roundabout, so y'all be careful out there. And so, yeah, he wants to make all these crazy changes to the town, right? And that's driving up prices as well. And I thought, But even the pricing that she was telling me of what stuff is going for, considering the age of these homes, and most of them look like a straight up fixer-upper, I thought to myself, that's overpriced. But it seems like it's there all over, all over the world. You're talking about, it's overpriced. Good morning. My Facebook is down. How can Facebook be down? Okay. So remember, folks, listen, we got more than one way to listen to the program. YouTube, Facebook. YouTube, you don't need any kind of account or anything. YouTube, Facebook, the radio. And we're aware that the radio is having an issue. But Facebook is good this morning. YouTube is good. We got almost 400 people listening between Facebook and YouTube this morning, because y'all are here for this special sauce that I'm going to give you. So Donna says she's listening on Facebook. Thank you, honey child. Good morning, Miss Wanda. Rohan, good morning. Robert, morning. Jonathan. Oh gosh, Jonathan, no, some young foolish person. But anyway, all right, let's get the show on the road. Debbie and Miss Sue having a discussion about which city they prefer the best. Lovelet, good morning. Louis joining us from Detroit. Hello, Louis. How are you? Okay. So listen, nope, everything's good. Let's talk about it. So here's the big news. That's going to be a shocker, because it was a shocker even to me. Oh my gosh. Salvin says, since you/the show has become a main staple, thus an essential service. I like how he jumps from one conclusion to the next. Oh, Salvin. You should not be able to take vacation unless special arrangements are made. Work it out, and we, the people, will approve or disapprove. Woo! Salvin, you are so funny. That's hilarious. That really is hilarious, though. Thank you, Salvin. I missed you too. All right. So yesterday morning, I was at the hotel, minding my own business, sitting in the lobby, waiting for Marlon's cousin to come and pick me up. So no, that wasn't yesterday morning. My apologies. That was the day before, because yesterday morning I was traveling. No. Wrong day. The day before. So I noticed that my systems at home, you guys know we got multiple cameras and multiple systems, notified me that there was a person detected at the front door and there was a car detected. And I was like, who's at my front door? So I log in, I have a look. Of course, my husband already logged in, was talking to the person at the front door. I noticed it was a police officer. Honey chow. I'm like, why are the police at my front door? Like, the alarm didn't go off, because the alarm company would have called me first, honey chow. I'm like, all right, what's going on here? So, we're looking for Sandra, blah, blah, blah. So I emailed the police commissioner and I said, why y'all looking for me? Is something wrong? Because that's how we roll around here, honey chow. I actually have to tell you something. And our CIPS, don't take it personal, but we're not really the best of friends. And I don't appreciate people coming unannounced. When I say people, I'm specifically referring to the RCIPS, coming unannounced to my door. I've told them this before. I said, listen, you have my phone number. If you need to reach me for anything, just call me and I will actually come and see you. You don't need to waste gas or any other resources, that's tire tread, whatever, coming to see me. I'm the type of person, you just call me and I will come. Okay? I ain't got no problems with that. So I have zero issues coming in and seeing you. But child, they look like they lug my front steps because they're always coming. So he said, oh, we have an update for you on a matter. And I said, oh, okay. And what matter would that be? Y'all ready for are y'all, please sit down with your tea. Put a little bit of Hennessy in the tea this morning. Have a glass of red wine, because this is such a shocker even for me. You guys remember John Felder, con artist extraordinaire. He reminds me of a Caymanian, whose name I shall not mention, who is very much also a con artist. The two of them are so much the same, but Mr. Felder is like the geriatric version of that other person. Some people, I think, were born, they come out of their mother's vagina, just conning. They were conning their mommy. That's how they got here to begin with. They were a product of a con, because it is so embedded in their DNA that you have to wonder, how do you become this kind of person in life? Something is wrong, and it looks like it was wrong from day one. That's the kind of person that Mr. Felder strikes me as. And we have the evidence to show that this man seems to not have an honest bone in his body. Jonathan said he can roll a spliff for this one. Child, something. So anyway, we had this civil suit, you guys remember, where he sued me. He got a default judgment because I ignored the civil suit because I thought it was so frivolous. Don't ever do that, because that's the only reason he got a default judgment. Because everything I said in the article, which said that he got fired from his company, blah, 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 was spot on. Okay. I think the date that he was fired was a little bit off. So we went back and forth for a while with the civil suit. He eventually lost the civil suit, had his default judgment overturned. Yeah. And I won. And he's supposed to pay my legal fees to the tune of almost $60,000. That was court ordered by a judge in the grand court. And do you know that up to this day, that guy has ignored a grand court order? Now listen carefully, folks, because this is where it gets interesting. So he has ignored a grand court order. Let me just pull up the grand court order to refresh your mind. This was dated, it was a consent order. So his lawyers begged us to settle this. They called us, will you please settle this? Blah, blah, blah. And I was like, listen, we're going to win. So I don't know what we're settling for, but the courts are very, the courts like for people to settle. That's they always encourage you to settle. And that's going to play a very interesting part in what I'm going to tell you next. So the court said to us, you know, once this is settled, this is going to be the final order. There's no going behind the order. There's no, you know, listen, this needs to be done because this man kept going back and forth with him and his lawyers, who I'm really ashamed of some of these so-called lawyers, right? The judge had to be pulled out of retirement. The judge had made an order, and then they claimed that the order wasn't crystal clear when he had set aside the judgment of this Mr. Felder. You know, I want to call him something else. They claimed that, it wasn't crystal clear. So it was like, what? It wasn't crystal clear. So the judge came back last year during, I remember it quite clearly because it was during Easter, had another whole set of hearings. And before the judge ruled, they came back and said, no, we want to settle this. And the judge called the lawyers in. The judge said, listen, I want to make sure that y'all understand that when we settle this, that's it. There's no more. You can't go behind this. You can't claim you didn't understand. Let's make this crystal clear. Because, you know, lawyers have a knack for trying to interpret things to their own liking. And the judge said there will be no further misinterpretation as it relates to cost, this and that. This young lady is getting her legal costs. And in fact, in his judgment, the judge was scathing in how these lawyers had done such a poor job, missed deadlines and all sorts of stuff, right? Miss a deadline. Let me be very, very specific. He had even named the specific lawyer who had made the error, because throughout this whole thing, John Felder must have had about 5 lawyers. Okay. Now listen to this. The law firm, and this is why you, the people, need to be educated about how the judiciary works and how some of these lawyers would hoodwink their way out of anything. The lawyers went back and said, oh, Your Honor, you know, this, when he set aside the default judgment, that decision is really scathing, and it makes us look bad as a law firm. And in particular, it makes this lawyer look bad. And would you please remove his name from it? Because, of course, as a foreign lawyer in this jurisdiction, he needs a little bit of protection, and he needs to continue to be able to be employed and to have a job. And this is something that could negatively affect him. Well, the little judge, nice little fella, nice judge. He said, okay, I don't need to name him in the judgment. That's fine. And so he toned down the judgment to satisfy these people. Now, here's the problem that I have, right? Even though the default judgment was very, very, and the appeal on that was a very narrow legal arguments. These attorneys would have known the type of person they were dealing with John Felder. Who in Cayman don't know by now what kind of cloth John Felder is cut from? And it's not the cloth of the good Jesus, the Holy Ghost, right? This man is something else. So what he does, even as it relates to his lawyers, they would have been very much aware of some of his character because they represented him in a liquidation case, and they would have seen all the stuff that I wrote in my article that he claims wasn't true. They would know that it was true. They would have seen the termination letter. They would have, the liquidators are messaging them like, sirs, attorneys, we need your client to turn over this document, this, all this stuff. Why don't we have it? And he was refusing to produce stuff to the liquidators because of what? Shadiness, right? Perhaps even contractual issues with his partners, illegalities, all sorts of stuff. So attorneys go to represent a man, understand me, in a defamation lawsuit, knowing full well that what I said about their client was true. That is deception of the court. They should be, how do you have the nerve to go and ask the judge to, remove the attorney's name from this, downplay it a little bit because it makes us look so bad? You should look worse than bad. You took on a client that you knew was being dishonest, or that you should have, any reasonable person. Let me put it this way, because they're listening. They want to lawyer up again. Let me put it this way, that you should have reasonably known. Because all the evidence was there. You were dealing with this man during a liquidation hearing. You would have seen everything. You would have seen this man trying to sell shares in a company that he did not even have. Oh, Jesus. The level of connivingness and dishonesty in this country blows my mind. And you know what? If he was a Caymanian, we would have been all over this from day one. But no, we have a knack for importing undesirables from overseas. And I'm not saying that we don't have our own, because like I said, he is a geriatric version of a Caymanian that I happen to know very, very well. And y'all know him too, because he's been here conning people left, right, and center all of his life. All right. So he's doing all this stuff. And this is what they're concerned about, their reputation. Why weren't you concerned about representing a man that has his reputation as salt in this country? No, they just looking at the money. Well, I hope that they never got paid, because, the same way he's refusing to pay my legal fees, I hope to God he has refused to pay their legal fees as well. He has ignored an order of the court. But here is where this story gets next level crazy. So he calls the police. I'll have to double check the dates, but before the default judgment, big shout out to Broadhurst attorneys at law. Before the default judgment was set aside, we went to court and I was still representing myself, and we had a hearing. The judge said, listen, can you guys please just go away and settle this? Judges like people to just settle things. Sometimes I think they just don't want to be bothered writing a judgment. An order is only one page normally. A judgment can be 20, 30, 100, 200 pages. That's a lot of work for them. And they got to do all kind of legal research. This is why I've said this and that. They always encourage people, go away and settle it. You guys would be surprised. The matters, everything that they say, go away and settle it, right? Oh yeah, remember the one with the citizens group of West Bay or whatever they're calling themselves, suing the DART organization with that whole beach? Same thing. They said, go away and settle this. See what you guys can come up with on your own. I'm trying to think what other ones. Every single civil suit that I've been involved in, that's why y'all hear that it's settled, because the judges say, go away and settle this. They're like, what outcome do you hope to achieve? So that's why when I have said I've never lost a civil suit, I have never lost a civil suit. And I've never had to pay anybody any money, because you go away and you settle it and you say, okay, all right. You want an apology? Although 99.999% of what was said in this was true, we'll give you an apology, no problem. One person wanted me to never write anything about them again. They wanted that to be a term of the agreement. And I said, oh, honey child, no, I can't do that. I can't agree to something that is that wide. Because what if tomorrow you go kill somebody? You're trying to say I couldn't report on the fact that you killed somebody? Nah, honey child, that's too broad. Now, come on now. You negotiate. It is part of the process. Somebody said the radio is still clicking in and out. What? All right, this is a bigger problem with Chuck. I think they might have to restart something on their end. I don't know what's going on. So, this is how it works. So in this one instance, the judge said, go away and try to talk this out, settle this. So I actually sent okay. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with the radio. I actually sent his attorneys a without prejudice email. Now, keep in mind that I'm representing myself. Without prejudice means that, whatever I'm going to say in here can't be used. This is my understanding of without prejudice. It can't be used to say, oh, well, she said this or like it can't. It's like you're in a negotiation stage, right? You're making an offer. You're saying certain things. And so you can't necessarily try to rely on it and use it to then say, well, this is what was probably not until you come to like a final agreement. Let me give you the textbook definition. So the without prejudice rule will generally prevent statements made in a genuine attempt to settle an existing dispute, whether in writing or orally. Hold on. Let me hold on. Let me pull this full definition out, right? From being put before the court as evidence of omissions against the interests of the party who made them. One reason for having the WP rule is that the public policy of encouraging parties or potential parties to litigation to settle their disputes out of court. The rationale is that settlement discussions, and it's hoped the settlement itself, will be facilitated if parties are able to speak freely, secure in the knowledge that what they have said, in particular, any admissions which they might have made to try to settle the matter, will not be used against them, blah, blah, blah. Well, here's what John Felder did. And it is so shocking because the same person that I say he's a geriatric version of did the exact same thing. You have no options in a civil case. You've lost. So you run to the police and you try to get the police and the DPP's office to do your job for you. John Felder ran to, oh my God. What is going on with the connection? Ran to the police, right? And made a criminal complaint against me based on these civil proceedings. And he claimed, one second. He claimed that I was trying to bribe him. So a without prejudice email that was sent right after a court hearing where the judge said, go settle this, sent to his attorneys, which the attorneys would have forwarded to him, he claims that I was trying to bribe him. Well, lo and behold, a year later, that somebody at the DPP's office has instructed the RCIPS to charge me. That's the breaking news this morning. That's the news y'all are waiting for. And I want to make sure that I'm the first person to tell you. We are family on this program, honey child. I tell you the good, the bad, the indifferent, and everything in between. So once again, I have been charged. Listen carefully, folks. The DPP has instructed the police to charge me in relation to email correspondence and negotiations in a civil case. I want it to sink in for a minute because it took a minute for it to sink in for me. I was like, what? Say who? I send a not prejudice email, and based on that, you're criminally charging me? Yes, some lawyer thought that this is a good idea and a winnable case for them, and that somehow I have committed, the two charges are bribery and what's that one about interfering with the course of justice or whatever the heck they call it? I have never in my life. You know what this would mean? This would mean that any negotiations done without prejudice, which you can't, without prejudice means you can't even rely on it on the civil proceeding, but yet the DPP's office is saying that they can rely on what was said in that email for a criminal proceeding. I'm like, WTF? Y'all gonna charge me for this bullshit? Excuse my French this morning. But I'm like, what? When they even came to me about it initially, like, oh, we'd like for you to come in for an interview, I said, please. Interview for what? I ain't giving y'all no interview because once again, this is frivolous. This is what this man does. And this is what some people do, right? Can't win in a court of law, have no more money. No other lawyers in Cayman will represent him because, like I said, I'm pretty sure he still owes the last bunch of lawyers a big fat check and he never paid that bill. Owes people hundreds of thousands of dollars, upwards of $500,000 at least on this island alone. Ignores an order of the court to pay my legal fees. But the DPP is going to do his bidding for him. And by extension, the police coming to my front door talking about they're going to have a summons ready for me in a week. Bring your summons, honey child. Y'all are a disgrace. And this is why the police can't focus on real cases. There's no wonder They can't solve no murders because the DPP got them fighting foolishness like this. This is a civil matter. Why is the DPP getting involved in this? Who the hell is John Felder but a crook, a scammer, a thief who doesn't want to pay his bills? Seriously? This is who y'all want to say is a victim? And that I have victimized him by writing an email on the instructions of the court to try to settle this matter? Y'all have lost your damn minds. And I'm getting sick and tired of the DPP's office targeting me because it's been so many cases now that I've literally lost count. And 97% of the cases that the DPP has brought against me have been thrown out by the courts at the earliest possible stage in the prosecution, which means the case was so weak and without merit that the court said dismiss it. How many times are we going to go on this rodeo is my question. Before I say, who in the DPP's office has a bone to pick with me? Because this ain't normal. Now I want y'all to think about it for a minute, because there's two possibilities here, right? One possibility, do not give me the benefit of the doubt. So one possibility is that I am Cayman's most prolific criminal. Hear me out now. This is a possibility. I didn't say it was likely. But given the number of times, 6, 7, 8, 9 times that I've been charged, and they only have one measly conviction with Matthew Leslie, another con artist, that I will be appealing. Yeah? Let me understand this. When you charge someone over and over and over again, I have been charged more, I can tell you, than some of the murderers in Cayman, some of the gangsters in Cayman who've gone around killing multiple people, some of the biggest gamblers in Cayman who are making millions of dollars in illegal money laundering left, right, and center, doing the most, right? Destroying this country with drug dealing and all sorts of stuff. I have been in the penal system more than all of those people. Yes, Alejandro, apparently I'm public enemy number 1 as far as the DPP's office is concerned. And they charge me with any and everything, and it is all over the map. It started back in 2009 with a dog theft case. And I took them on all by myself, and I won and had it thrown out. And the judge in that case said this is the most ridiculous case. They had to bring in poor magistrate, acting magistrate, John Furness, because nobody else would take the case at the time. Margaret Ramsey wouldn't take the case. No regular magistrate would take the case. Back in 2009, they all refused to take it. Yeah? Oh, Lord, what is going on with the radio today? Oh, we might have to figure this one out. Lord have mercy. I don't know what's going on with the radio feed today. I honestly do not know. Good grief. This is frustrating. All right. So the possibility then is, so he's saying that it's on my side, apparently. Flo. Hold on now. Hold on. But it's strange that I can't even see it. Ugh, this is frustrating me today. All right. Okay. Well, I can't see the connection. All right. So there is a possibility, folks, that okay, looks like I'm back again. Let's try this again. My apologies to radio folks today. Yeah. Let me try to, this seems like this internet issue that we were having the other day with where internet was constantly dropping. I don't know what's causing it, but I thought they had fixed it. Now it's happening again. So yeah, so there is a possibility that I supersede all of those individuals. Who would you say is Cayman's biggest, baddest criminal that we've had? I don't know. What's the name of the guy that died there that was in jail? Sheldon. Was it Brown? Not even Sheldon Brown has been charged as much as I have been. I mean, mind you, when I say charged, some of these guys have a long rap sheet, so I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about charged and actually having it thrown out. And there's a difference. And I should make that distinction very, very clear. I'm not trying to say that I've been charged more than them. I'm trying to say I've been charged and gotten away with it, if you think I'm a criminal, more than them. How is that possible? I'm either the most prolific criminal in Cayman with the best streak of luck ever, so I better start playing the damn lottery because I need to become a millionaire, or the DPP's office has got an issue with me, an axe to grind that somebody should start to explain here really soon, because I need to think about suing them. The dog theft case, the comment from the acting magistrate, this is the worst use of public funds I have ever seen. Those were his words. Go back and read the magistrate's comments, folks. He threw it out. He said, why did this even come to court? This is a dispute between neighbors. This is not a criminal case. Magistrate Foldats. The next case went before magistrate, I think she might have been chief magistrate at the time, Ramsey Hale. Right? This was the one in West Bay where they were charging me. Listen, folks, I want y'all to understand how ridiculous the DPP's office has been with me. They were charging me with stealing my own stuff. You can't steal something that belongs to you, donkeys. So I was renting a place in West Bay, and when I left, I was taking my stuff out. And here they come, and once again, somebody tells them, oh, this is my version of it. Oh, nothing in the lease. The lease was silent on it. I had my email where I asked them at the end of the contract, what do you want me to do? And they said, take it out. So I proceed to take it out. Halfway through me taking it out, some 30 days later, they changed their minds because a lawyer told them they could change their mind. And I don't agree to it. The DPP's office charges me with theft of a fire extinguisher that was mine and destruction of property that I had put in. Well, I'm not a lawyer, have a law degree. At that point, I hadn't even done the PPC, and I show up with a case out of the UK Court of Appeal that says somebody cannot destroy their own property. And it was very, very close to the factual matrix of what had happened in my situation and a rental situation, blah, blah, blah. And I handed it to the judge to magistrate, like she was chief magistrate at the time, Ramsey Hale. And she's like, oh, Miss Sandy, did you bring 3 copies of this? I said, yes, honey child. After the dog case, now I know a little bit of thing or two about coming to court prepared. Here's the 3 copies, and here's your highlighter so you can highlight that section of the judgment. Miss Ramsey was impressed. She was like, wow, that's your smoking gun? Yes. She told the prosecution, you guys missed the mark here. Who decided to pursue this case? Y'all don't do your homework? You don't do your research? Go look at her thing. She told the client, a lawyer cannot tell you in a contractual situation that you get to change your mind and dictate to the other party what happens, because contracts are not unilateral. You can try and change the terms of a contract, but if the other party says no, then that's it. How do you make that into a criminal case? Once again, the DPP's office does not seem to know when they are overreaching. But they're not done with me yet. Here they come again with the nation building case. Another contract, this time with government. Yeah. Government lawyers did not even have a copy of the contract in question, But the DPP is going to turn around and say that I falsified a document, certificates that only I could sign to begin with. How the hell can I, how were they falsified? And at first they wanted to charge me with theft, but then they realized that they really had no case there whatsoever. So they dropped that charge. When we go to the court, the judge says the same thing. I emailed them saying XYZ, plain as day, during the course that they had sponsored these people for. Oh, well, oh yeah, we don't remember that email. Explaining how their certificates were prepared, the whole 9 yards. The judge is like, this shows the defendant's state of mind at the time. It's clear because her story hasn't changed. She's saying the exact same thing now. It's not like she switched up her story. The evidence was there from years ago. Here it is in black and white. Government can't find the contract. They put little Miss Judy Powery on the stand in the civil proceedings talking foolishness about that I never had a contract signed. And I said, y'all must have think I was born this size. Do I look like I'm stupid to you? I'm going to get in bed with government providing a service and not have a contract signed? I'm not that stupid. I was the one, in fact, who insisted on the contract because at the time, the premier who I was signing the contract with, or leader of government business, or whatever his title was Mr. Bush. And I said, we need this all in writing, sir. With all due respect, we definitely need it in writing. And I went to the government building and I signed it. Now, because it was all these years later, I couldn't actually find my executed copy, but I could find in my calendar where I had the appointment booked for the signing of the contract. I remembered all the details. Ms. Judy sat there and testified on the stand that there is no way that I came there and signed that contract without her seeing and knowing that I was there. And she has no knowledge or recollection of me ever coming up to see Mr. Bush to sign a contract. My lawyer said to her, Miss, are you sure you don't take a lunch break? You don't go to the bathroom? You don't get up from your desk for a coffee break? She says, no. I sit on my fat, don't get me started, all day. And so Sandra did not come by here to sign no contract. Well, guess what? I said to my lawyer, one way we can handle this argument really, really simply. You don't get in to see, what do they call it? GAB, Government Admin Building. Yeah. You don't get in there without signing at the front desk and checking with security. I said, you FOI those security logs right now. Sure enough, we come back to court. There's the FOI that I was there at this date, at this time, matching my calendar entry, I should say. And then they put that to see Miss Judy Powery, and she says, oh, well, I guess if the log says she was there, she was there. It blows my mind. The foolishness that can be escalated into criminal allegations, right? And that is why to this day, I will never respect. You know who I lost respect for during that case? Tara Rivers, who was Minister of Education, and what his name is? Conley, who was her consulate, whatever the heck his first name is. I can't remember now. Because they both owe me an apology. What's Conley's first name again? One-term MP. Anyway, Winston, thank you. Winston Conley. Because you know what Winston got on the stand and said as a qualified attorney? Because my female lawyer, I forget her name now, she was over at Ben's firm. He put it to her. She put it to him, sorry. You're a qualified attorney. Do you know what fraud is? Do you know this, that? Did you ever reach out to Miss Sandra for clarification? That no. And then in the end, you know what he did? He threw Tara Rivers under the bus. He said he did all of this on her instructions because they were the complainants. My own government, ministers of government were the complainant in that criminal case. Huh? Let that sink in. And to this day, Tara Rivers, you owe me an apology. You negatively impacted my reputation when it comes to my business, which I do not take kindly to. So the next time you or Winston see me in person, I would appreciate the apology, because once again, the case got thrown out. I did not even have to mount a defense. I didn't have to take the stand, nothing. It got thrown out. No case to answer. That's how weak your case was. And then the joke about it, I could have politicians come to me years later, talk about how Winston was going around bragging about, oh yeah, we got her now, we got her now. What do you mean you got me now? What is this? You're playing with my life and you're playing with other people's lives if this is how you prosecute cases. You got me now? No, honey child, you didn't have me now. The case got thrown out and you have egg all over your face and you still can't humble yourself and come and apologize to me. It's a good thing I'm not a real grudgeful person, but I still deserve an apology. So this is ridiculous, right? That's the third one that got thrown out. I got to go back through my record and check the others. But it's like, how many cases are you going to keep bringing against me? Like, seriously, at some point, you need to let me know what the issue is here. Is it because I always say that you're largely incompetent? And y'all don't like that? Because I try to hold the police accountable, the DPP's office accountable. Y'all be going on with so much foolishness that half of you don't deserve your jobs. It's despicable, quite frankly. Yeah. Y'all need to get it together. But here we are again, another round at the rodeo. And I got myself Cayman's best defense attorney. I might actually enjoy this turnaround because let me tell you something. I love watching Amelia perform. Yeah. So y'all talk to her, DPP's office, because I hope she hands you your behind on a silver platter. And then after she does that, we're going to have a serious conversation about what the next step is. Because I am sick and tired. I mean, it's a good thing I'm a strong person and that I'm made of some good Georgetown stock, honey child. Because a lot of other people would have crumbled by now under the psychological pressure that y'all be trying to put people under. But no, honey child, y'all clearly don't know me. I want to make myself very, very clear. I have done nothing wrong. And I stand firm in my position that you guys are overreaching. This is prosecutorial, is that the word? Misconduct as far as I'm concerned. And in any other jurisdiction, y'all would have been sued a long time ago for some sort of harassment, or I don't know what it is, but this is ridiculous. Jonathan says they want to throw me in jail. Yes, they would love that. Looks like someone gonna have to learn how to braid hair. Well, it's not gonna be me. You know, they keep trying and everything that they can try to throw at you. Why y'all getting involved in civil proceedings? That's the question. And when people really need your help, y'all are doing nothing about it. So from now on, nobody in this country is going to be able to negotiate a civil matter because they will have to now be afraid that somebody of the caliber of a John Felder will make a criminal complaint against them that the negotiations amount to bribery. Now, sit down 1 second. Alejandro says, God is on your side, Sandy. They still don't know how to get an answer from him. Child, please. They are so clueless, but I want y'all to listen to what I'm going to tell you next, right? So remember some months back, I was telling you guys that the police had contacted me. This was early last year about this lady named Darlene Oku. Now, she's the one who was the DPP in the Matthew Leslie matter. Yes? Her and a lady named, oh God, hold on here now. Let me just, I don't want to get the wrong name. So let me pull up my CMR page here. So I have no respect for her, and I have no qualms in telling you all that I have no respect for her. I guess they'll try to charge me for that too. Ooh, you hurt her feelings. You said you don't have no respect for her. You said she's okay. Listen very carefully. Back in July of last year, okay, we did an article entitled Prosecution loses corruption case as rumors abound about Moran, that's Patrick Moran, finding new government job. Oh, God, all sorts of complaints about racism, this and that. The governor's office did an investigation. Oh, no, there's no racism in the DPP's office. Child, please. I don't know if we want to call it racism. Maybe it's based on something else. Based on just the fact that you're Caymanian, not necessarily in the color of your skin, because they hold them all down, apparently. So this case involved Evita Dixon, who worked for the DPP's office for 18 years as an administrative officer. They made a complaint against her that she had tampered with the criminal file of her son, who was facing some ganja charges, and charged her with breach of trust. Now, she would be stupid to throw away an 18-year career for something over ganja, a spliff of ganja. Like, seriously? Right? 7-week trial. Had lead defense attorney Courtney Griffiths, QC, who came in from the UK, worked with Amelia. The jury found her not guilty. They say that she was subjected to a toxic work environment and racism by her superiors. Nobody should be surprised at that allegation, because we were talking about it before. So, in that case, people took the stand, such as Darlene Oku and Emma Hutchinson. Yes, Patrick Moran, she said, systematically harassed Ms. Dixon and bullied her at work and subjected her to racism. That was her defense. Obviously, the jury believed her because they made her walk out there a free woman. But yet her life has been disrupted and destroyed as a result of this. Okay. We did the story. I went to court. I listened to some of the case. It was 7 weeks. I'm not telling you I sat there every day for 7 weeks. One of the things that was very obvious and that the defense said is that Darlene Oku and Emma Hutchinson are less than honest people. Even the testimony that they got on the stand and gave was contradicted by some of their own DPP colleagues. Let that sink in. Because normally when you lie in the stand, that's when the police and the DPP's office should be charging you with perjury. You think anybody get charged with perjury? No, not a single person. So they don't get charged with perjury. We do the article. Yeah. They run to the police. Lord Jesus. Woo! Y'all don't understand. They run to the police because I did a story that was based on court proceedings. And I did the show, which was like, oh my God, this is the story. This is what, is alleged to have happened, blah, blah, blah. They run to the police, and the police have the audacity to come to me with their foolishness yet again. Oh, we want to interview you. I said, what? Are y'all crazy? Oh, the DPP's office. Now listen to this. This is very, very important. An independent counselor to the DPP's office, Patrick Moran, because now they'd moved him out of the DPP's office. They got him to review the file. Oh, really? Let me understand this. Well, that smacks of nepotism and self-interest. How did you get to review this file and make a recommendation? So those donkeys, and I'm going to call them that, France Manderson, please do not call me this morning, but I'm calling civil servants donkeys again, because these police officers and members of the DPP office specifically, not all of them, are lucky that all I'm calling them is a donkey. Hee-haw. Yeah. Because they come to me and say to me, Miss Sandy, Miss Sandra Hill, We won't charge you, although we have a recommendation to charge you. Listen now. We will not charge you if you take down the story and take down the podcast. Hold on. Did y'all hear what I just said? They said they had a file and a recommendation to charge me, but they will not do it if I take down the story on Darlene Oku and Emma Hutchinson. Lord Jesus, what did you just say, Sandy? That sounds like bribery to me. The very same thing that they're going to allege now that I have done in a criminal proceeding without prejudice, they did in a, did I say criminal? I meant civil proceeding without prejudice. They have done in a criminal proceeding. I was like, listen to me. If you say I have done something criminally wrong, then prepare your case and bring it. You don't come to me talking about, oh, if I take down a story, somehow I have undone the criminal act that you're alleging that I've done, and somebody has told you that I should be charged with. That sounds like bribery and interfering with the course of justice to me. So they do it to me, and it's not a criminal offense. I do it not quite like that, but I'll tell you what my email said to Felder, right? And all of a sudden, you have the audacity to charge me? Oh, Lord Jesus Christ. Please, Lord, give me strength. Because when I hear foolishness like this, it is hard to believe, but this is how the system works in this country. Yeah, they can do it with immunity and impunity and the whole 9 yards. But let little old me try to be a little legal eagle and use the exact same tactic, and oh no. Wow. This is the reality of what some of us have to deal with in this country. Now, we had a whole list and slew of stories on John Felder. Because when the first, I think that was like the second or third story at that point, was written about him being fired from his job, we didn't have any doubts about whether or not that was true. But John Felder think I'm a dummy, apparently, and that I would not get the evidence to back it up. So when I got the termination letter, when I got the cease and desist letter, when I got the liquidator's report, all this stuff, this man thinks that, you know, I couldn't possibly have. Well, I had it all. And so in my offer to settle, I say, listen, dude, I got a whole book that I could publish on you and your shenanigans. And I'd be happy to not publish those things if you just walk away, because you know what I published thus far is true. And at this point, everybody in the Cayman Islands has been warned about this man. Y'all should not be foolish enough to fall for any more of his gimmicks. So now you're accusing me of bribery? What exactly was I getting out of it? I'm bribing you how? You gonna be paying me money? What? Corruption in the judiciary, says Robert? I'm not gonna go as far as that, because let me tell you something. I sit there every single day and I see a lot of hard working individuals, yes? In the DPP's office included. But there are some people who clearly are less than competent. And not just less than competent, but given how many times they keep coming at me, somebody has an axe to grind. And you don't come at me with no friggin' dull axe, okay? Keep grinding your axe, because clearly it's not sharp yet. Y'all need the help of Jesus over there at the DPP's office. It is just unbelievable. But I'm going to remain calm, y'all. Some days it ain't easy. And I'm going to just carry on. They are not going to stop me from doing what I have to do. So when I have to expose people, like the likes of a John Felder, you will continue to be exposed. You think you can charge me with trumped up charges and that's going to stop the truth? The truth can't be stopped. And at some point, I'm going to start reaching out to international human rights groups in the region and beyond, yes, to talk about how y'all keep coming at me as a journalist in this community when I speak the truth. Y'all gonna stop. You're going to be stopped one way or the other. Because I will not allow you to continue to take advantage of me and by extension, the people of the Cayman Islands with your trumped up charges to try to silence me, because this is ultimately what it's all about. What you should be doing is using your powers to tell Mr. Felder that he needs to obey a court order or he will be held in, I don't know, contempt of court. But he knows that he's outside the jurisdiction, you see? You see how this game works? He's going to use my own police force, my own DPP's office right here in the Cayman Islands against me. But he don't think that my long arms can reach him in his jurisdiction. In fact, let me tell you how the type of person he is. When my lawyers reached out to say, sir, you need to pay per the court order, you need to pay this money that was ordered by the court. You know what he did? He told them, oh, I'm thinking about trying to have that set aside. The judge made it very clear. There will be no setting aside. This is from April of last year that this consent order was signed. He fully understood because his lawyers explained it to him. There'll be no setting aside of this. This is it. This is final. The judge said he did not want to hear another word about anybody trying to go behind this consent order. He made that crystal clear. By the way, his attorneys were Priestley's attorneys at law. Now they now say that, oh, they no longer act on his behalf, of course, conveniently for them. And the man has not yet paid my legal fees. And the debt is owed while he lives in Columbia, Maryland. And I will be finding a debt collection agency in Columbia, Maryland. Okay. So now they're going to add on another charge of bribery, I guess, after today's show. You have a court order in the Cayman Islands. I'm going to contact all of the credit agencies and start to attach that to your credit because they need to know this guy owes money all over the place. I've been so busy, I haven't had a chance to chase up my money yet, but you better believe you're going to pay the $50,000 legal bill that you stuck me with because of your frivolousness, your deceptiveness, your thievery, your lies in a court. This man showed up to court producing receipts in the damages part of the hearing, right? That's how they could award him $150,000. How much I must pay that because Judge Marlene Carter had no clue. And at that stage in proceedings, oh, we can't look at the merit of what he's produced. The man has produced lies. He's claiming that, oh, I've impacted his reputation as a thief and a liar and a con artist. What kind of reputation? You don't even have a reputation, right? That I have impacted your reputation negatively. Well, Jesus, by telling the truth. And these are his losses. I still have the documentation. The man produced a receipt for a Tesla car, right? That he says he lost out on because of me. And I got to tell you all the story behind the Tesla car. Hold on now. Yes, Irvlin, this is some straight bangarang. The Tesla car was purchased by Dale Crichton in the Cayman Islands. 3 years later, the man still did not produce Dale's car after he paid him cash. Yeah. Our story didn't come until after that point. And he produces a receipt to the Grand Court That is a false document. Why don't the police look into that? Since y'all have so much time on your hands, why didn't you look into the fact that this man produced documentation and gave it to the grand court and attached a statement to it, and it was all a lie? That receipt and that payment had been made under the company in the Cayman Islands, not his new company as he claimed. So he took old receipts, put his new company information, new logo on it, printed those off, provided those to the court, and tell the court, oh, these are existing contracts now that I'm losing money on because of her article. And this is how her incorrect article has impacted me. And those invoices were a lie. Mm-hmm. He produced receipts for a company in, I think it was Barbados, that claims that they were ordering batteries from him. And because of my article, they lost faith in him. Well, that's not exactly the truth. In their email, and I spoke to them and I saw the email correspondence, what they actually said was, sir, we have a problem because every time we place an order with you, there's nothing but delays as it relates to the order. And so we are wondering why we have paid $30,000 for batteries and can't get our batteries. And in addition to that, we see that you're featured on Cayman Mall Road to say that you no longer work in the Cayman Islands, which is something else. We did not know that you were part of this case. Yeah. So January of last year, he runs to the court and files this complaint, or runs to the police, my apologies, and files this complaint against me. And now the police have decided, in conjunction, on the advice of the DPP's office, to charge me based on this. I'm like, are y'all crazy? Based on a without prejudice email correspondence, which, for the record, they have in their possession. Unbelievable. This is where it's at, folks. This is where it's at. This is exactly where it's at. I am a little bit in disbelief, but at this point, I should expect this in the DP's office. I mean, I should not have any greater expectations of them, honestly. Darlene says, Sandy, I feel that we as the people don't understand true journalism. I think you, the people, understand it. It's the powers that be that don't understand it. And there are people in this community who are straight up con artists and dishonest people who have recognized that there is a weakness in the criminal justice system, particularly when it comes to me, and they are willing to exploit that situation to their full advantage. How can you speak the truth about people in this community taking advantage of people and then have a criminal court try to step in and handle, which in any other jurisdiction would ordinarily be a civil matter? Yeah. Look at the Matthew Leslie case. If I had said anything fake or false about Matthew Leslie, why didn't he go to the civil court and sue for defamation? You know why? Because everything I said was true, and everything I said, I could back it up. Emails, tape recordings, the works. So when they have no recourse in the civil system where something properly should be, they run to the DPP's office, they run to the police, and they file a criminal complaint because they know how easy it is to get somebody charged under that umbrella. It's a sad day for justice as far as I'm concerned. And it's difficult to understand the logic of this, but I'm leaving that to my legal eagle. Sandra says, I hope that you believe that discrimination and apartheid plus modern day slavery is alive and well in this island. Well, Listen, I know something's alive and well here. And it is sad. And, you know, on the one hand though, I am happy that it's me. And I say that because other people, a lot of other people would have crumbled by now. They would have given up. They would have quit this platform. They would have, you know, but not today, Bobo. The more they come at me, the more they give me the fuel that I need to continue, because I see why it is necessary for the people to have a voice. These are the same people, when you, the people, go to them. Oh, you know, this person has done this to me. They've taken my money. Right now, we got a school teacher, took rental money from people and refuses to pay that back. That's theft. When people stealing your pension money, not paying your health insurance, these are the same people who cannot help you. They tell you that's a civil case. But when the very email and product of a civil case, like it is actually a civil case, it's actually civil litigation. When a John Felder runs to them, all of a sudden they can turn it into a criminal case. You see how there's something wrong with the system? They're not willing to help the good, honest people. The people that they want to help and label them as a victim is the Matthew Leslies of the world. It's the John Felders of the world. Y'all make that sink in for a minute. Those people are victims. You know how many people they have victimized? Folks, John Felder, go and read the liquidator's report. He has $500,000 out there in money locally that he's owed to people. Yeah. And he has gotten that money by way of telling people, oh, you know, I need it to buy cars and equipment for Cayman Automotive, and I own the company. He didn't own the company. Randy Marin owned the company. Here's the story with the Tesla. Felder signed settlement agreement. And this is a man who's still online peddling, trying to get you all to buy, using EK Trade, by the way, trying to get y'all to buy cars from him. Felder signed settlement agreement 3 years after the Tesla vehicle was ordered. Yeah, here it is. This is the same one that he claims. And he produced an invoice for, I have the invoice in Grand Court, trying to tell the judge, okay, that I cost him this sale. He made the sale and never delivered the product. The letter is right here. This is the agreement that eventually his company had to sign and that he had to sign. Poor Randy Marin, his name is on it. John Felder had to sign it in 2020. Yeah, they had to deliver him another vehicle because the man took his money and never gave him the car. See his signature there? Executed in February of 2020. But yet he produces a receipt, a false document to the Grand Court claiming that I cost him that contract. I cost him that sale because of my story. It's like, what? And nobody charges him with producing a false document to the Grand Court of the Cayman Islands? Nobody talks about how his lawyers could put forward something on his behalf, knowing that that was not even the case, or should have known that that was not the case because they had the benefit of this settlement deed. Wow. Mind you now, right? even the very termination of his employment from Cayman Automotive Leasing. When we did the story dated December of 2019, that was the original day of the story, that he claims that he wasn't fired. And he sent out a let's call it that. He sent out an email to all of his clients claiming that he had left because he had a sick grandbaby, this, that, and the next thing. His lawyers would have known that that was not the case. They would have seen the termination letter that he received from Randy Marin and his attorneys. It is absolutely shocking. But let me show y'all something, right, about how people like this operate. Because if you don't get it by now, you got it. You got to get it. When people come to Cayman to hoodwink us and to pretend to be something that they're not, we need to stop these people dead in their tracks. What they do is, hold on a second here. They will do their best. Oh, give me one quick second. This article is not coming up. Hold on. They will actually do their best to ensure that they try to connect with the right people. What do I mean by that? What they do, folks, is stuff like shaking hands with politicians. They'd be the first ones that they go after because God knows some of them ain't got no sense. Oh, look at me. I'm Johnny Come Lately. And I have contracts with the Cuban government to deliver all these electronic vehicles. And we need to change the law in the Cayman Islands so that EVs get a tax deduction and blah, 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 because I want to line my pocket with all this money. You think anybody in government ever said to this man, okay, well, show us your contract with the Cuban government. Contract where? Where is this contract, honey child? Yeah. The man ain't got no contract. Right? The contract does not exist. He can never produce a contract with no Cuban government. Y'all understand the problem? This is the problem right here. Okay? He easily fools people. And I am not easily fooled. And so I guess this is where it's at. Because I'm able to see the truth of what's going on. And I encourage the people to see the truth, to pull the curtain back. These individuals do not like that. They don't want you knowing who and what they really are. Because the day y'all figure it out, right? We gonna have some real concerns. The day y'all see that, wow, this dude never really had a contract with the Cuban government. He was shaking hands with, he was purposely inserting himself into organizations like the Chamber and Rotary and pretending to be an upstanding citizen because that is what they do. Yeah. That's exactly what it was. And that's exactly what they do. Wake up, folks. The sooner you wake up, the more people will be unable to hoodwink you into believing their foolishness. Okay. I will keep you guys updated on this case. I'll let you guys know what's going on. There will be times undoubtedly that I can't say as much as I would like to once the proceedings begin, because I don't want them to claim in any way, shape, or form that I have somehow prejudiced the proceedings by telling y'all the truth. So you will hear it, but it will just be facts of what transpired and no discussions. It was important for me to bring you this news first before anybody else did, because I don't hide anything on this show. Y'all know it. The same way I hold other people accountable, I hold myself accountable as well. And it's really, really important that you guys understood the context of what was going on. Because, of course, you know, I'm sure some of the other media would be too happy to put a spin on this without all the facts and without really understanding what happened. Court proceedings will begin. I have always said, sorry, when they come and they decide to charge me every single case, I said, let's get this dispensed with as quickly as possible. I'm not interested in a long, protracted 3-4 years of my life being caught up with this, because this is what they do as well. This is how they wear you down. I say, right. If you have your case and you're ready to bring it, by all means, be prepared. Let's just get it done. Yeah? The second you accuse me of something, you better be ready. And this case will be no exception. And as it happens, I will certainly update you guys on the outcome of it. All right. Let's talk about a few other things here, folks. I'll read some of your comments, by the way. Sujit says trying to silence Sandy is to silence the citizens of Cayman. Well, they honestly don't care about silencing you. So not surprised, but thank you. Justin says, I'm near Columbia, Maryland. Maybe we could find him on the street and do an on-the-spot interview of if he can be found. Hopefully you enjoyed your visit to the States. Thank you so much, Justin. You know, this dude he's special. I mean, for people to get on the stand and lie in the way in which I saw him, even in the limited proceedings that occurred. I mean, this man even tried to blame his, I'll have to show you guys a picture, but his daughter had a severely deformed child. Really, really sad situation. The doctors actually told her not to go through with the pregnancy because the child would not survive. And it had every single thing wrong with it, physical abnormalities, mental, it was just, you know, and the child did not live very long. He actually took a photo. I want y'all to listen to how deceptive people are. He took a photo of that child in the neonatal ICU, hooked up to more tubes than I've ever seen in my entire life. Tubes coming out of everything. Him holding the child, his wife holding the child. He took a photo of that and put that in the court proceedings against me. A full page color photo of this really disturbing thing of this child, somehow wanting to blame me for what has happened to this child and talking about, oh, this is what he's been dealing with and the impact that I've had on him and his family. What? Seriously? First of all, you didn't mention that the doctors told your daughter not to go through with this pregnancy, not to have this child because there was something wrong. And they knew that the child would be severely deformed. And you still brought this child into the world. And then you're now turning to the court saying, woe is me. Look at my situation here. And somehow blame Sandy for this. I was like, y'all are not going to fall for this, are you? It's a psychological game. And boy, he's good at it. This man provided sworn testimony to the Grand Court of the Cayman Islands and multiple affidavits where he lied about not being fired in the Cayman Islands. He was not fired. He was going back to deal with this grandbaby. Then if you were not fired, sir, do tell. How is it possible that I could receive a copy of your termination letter? It's like, what? You weren't fired, so you say, and you tell the grand court this, and then look at this letter dated August the 28th of 2019. Letter of reprimand and call for immediate removal. Says that you failed to perform the functions of your position as managing director of the company appropriately. Goes on to talk about missing deposits. Let me increase the size in this so y'all can see this. You certainly don't have to take my word for it. Yeah. Numerous complaints about deposits being taken by you on behalf of the company and no vehicles being received by ordering customers who've had notices for non-payment of leases for both the showroom and the service center. Wow. Various assertions from a potential purchaser during his due diligence exercise, whereby a convertible loan by him to the company, which was intended to pay off debts and regulatory and legal obligations, as well as to purchase vehicles to make those obligations, have been misappropriated by you and has not been used for the intended and agreed upon purpose. For those of you who are missing what that means, folks, misappropriation of funds equals theft. Where's the DPP's office in this case? Yeah. Why wasn't he charged with stealing company money? Huh? Well, I guess Randy Marin didn't pursue that, you see. If you have people who are willing to give these people a pass and just terminate them and they can continue to wreak havoc on the consumers, then that is a-okay. Previously unknown overdraft. The man was going to the banks here in the Cayman Islands, including CNB, taking out loans and overdraft facilities, and the owner of the company didn't even know anything about it. But he's not the one who's going to be in a criminal court. I am the one. Make it all sink in, folks. I've never done anything like this in my life, but yet, as someone said earlier, I'm the one who's public enemy number one. The register of members appears to have been changed on your instructions without the relevant shareholder knowing about it. Folks, changing the register of members, that is falsifying documents. Talk about falsifying a document. Here's a prime example. Yeah. My God. The things that are alleged in this singular letter is shocking. Breaches of trust, entrusted fiduciary role, breaches of your expected, severity of your actions justified this disciplinary reprimand and call for your immediate removal as an employee of the company. In any other language, folks, that's called you've been fired. Simple language. You're terminated, you're fired. And our article saying that he was terminated and fired is what led to him suing me to begin with. Can you believe it? Serious breaches. They're going to carry out a full audit on the company. Apparently, when we go back now to the cease and desist letter, even after he was fired, he turned around. Let me find that one. Hold on. He turned around and still told people that he owned the company, had the website guy change the company, the website, to redirect it. Here's the cease and desist letter. Redirect it to his own new company that he has set up in the United States of America. So this letter came from Auger on behalf of Cayman Automotive Leasing. Let's look at the criminal acts alleged in this. Right? We're instructed that you, a former shareholder and former director, but despite the fact that you are no longer involved with the company in its operations, you have and are continuing to falsely represent to customers and third-party service providers that you are still in control of the company and remain the largest shareholder of the company. He is going around pretending to be the largest shareholder and he no longer has anything to do with the company. Surely that's a criminal act somewhere on the books. Yeah. In particular, we note the following. He tried to transfer shares that he didn't even own to another party. Sold 60% of a company when he only owned 30%. Jesus, please have it make sense. He was on a bank account taking out loans again that he did not tell anybody about. Only God knows where the money went. He contacted in September of 2019 Jason Andrews of Andrews Design Plus Branding to cease work on the company's new website and to redirect the company's domain to your premier automotive export website, which is one he set up in the US, a US registered company. And was advised that IT guy, the web developer, to cease doing all business with the guy that he sold his shares to. You can't make this stuff up. Although he had received a deposit for the new website. Told the guy that the other guy doesn't have any authority to have a new website built for the company. That you're still the controlling person for the company. It's just unbelievable. A number of emails with one of the company's customers. Yeah, claiming that you're still the largest shareholder in the company. Using on his new website in the United States of America, the contact details for Cayman Automotive Leasing here in Cayman when he's fired from the company. If you and I did that, that would be fraud. We would be under the jail, not just inside of the jail. Jonathan says, Sandy, you must know that in this line of work makes you a dangerous person, especially when you got a lot of followers. When you can make police look bad, government officials look bad, lawyers look bad, calling people donkey of the day, etc., people will do their best to get rid of you. Because of your line of work, it slowed down or stopped certain people from doing their shady S. And when you stop certain people from doing certain things and tell their business, it's like, sorry, the rest of it got cut off. But yeah, oh yeah, Jonathan, I get it. And that's why I tell people, some people will be like, oh, Miss Sandy, I'm afraid of you. And the first question I ask them is why? Why are you afraid of me? The only reason you would have to be afraid of me if you're doing something shady and wrong. Good, upstanding people in this community have no reason to ever fear me or this platform. We highlight positive people and the good things that people do. But if you're a shady individual, if you're a con artist, if you're a thief, if you're a liar, if you're a murderer, then you might have need to be concerned. Miss Debbie says, you are so right. It's a cold hard truth. That's why I love her show, Straight Talk. Irvin says, the harder they come, the harder they fall. Honey child. Owen, good morning. Says it's just a continuation of what happens at a basic level, whereby people weaponize immigration or the police to deal with their civil matters. Once this is acceptable, then it's easier to apply it at a higher level. And it shouldn't be acceptable at any level. Many, many years ago, there was a situation where a tourist came here and there's some dispute about them not paying their hotel bill or something like that. And the police were trying to get involved. If that was me or you or Johnny, regular Johnny on the street, the police wouldn't be involved in that. They'll tell you once again, that's a civil case. Y'all go deal with it in a civil court. It's just unbelievable. Sujit says people are gullible. They are. People are very, very trusting. And that is another reason, Sujit, why a platform like this is so important. Because you guys want to believe people when they come to you, even in a court of law. You think that Judge Marlene actually believed that this guy would falsify receipts and bring to the court? And his attorney sitting there putting forth his case? You think that she would think that anybody would have that kind of audacity? They don't know the caliber of what they are dealing with. And I sit there on the other side and I'm just like, whoa, this is crazy. Sandra says yes, and then they can go to the Humane Society, walk dogs, and get their status. Yeah. So let me show y'all something. There are numerous pictures of John Felder. Unfortunately, right? Let me show you the original article that we put up that he sued us over, because this is what he does. And this was his MO. This is something that is very common for con artists to do. They go around trying to associate themselves with certain people. So here he is at the bottom, shaking hands with poor Heather Bodden. You see? Oh, she's a nice lady. She's well connected in the community. So let me give her a little donation and get my name and face in the picture. Here he is with another politician. He probably was minister at the time, Osborne Bodden. Oh, come. We're going to open up an electric station. Let's do that. Meanwhile, CUC has been putting electric stations all over the place for free, and nobody not shaking their hand and taking a photo with them. CUC, get your marketing team on board now. Get your accolades. Because John Felder can come and do it. He probably had y'all put it in for him. And knowing CUC, they probably donated it. But he's going to take all the credit. Here he is over at Dart. He must have even had poor Jackie hoodwinked. Getting a donation from her for something. Dart organization giving out money. There he is. That was him connecting with business people. Was his expertise, is what that byline right there says. And you better believe it. That is what people like him do. Shame, shame, shame. Rosemary says he's a real con artist. Y'all don't have no clue. I don't really use that word lightly. There's certain characteristics and certain traits that, make you a con artist. Jonathan goes on to say, do you think that the government likes it when people listen to your show more than theirs? Oh, Jesus. No, they don't. When election time comes back, government wishes that the people would only listen to Radio Cayman so they can tell us, the people, what they want to tell us. Well, Jonathan, I hear you loud and clear, and I agree with you, and I get it. And that's why I pay very, very close attention to certain MPs. When they get upset with me, and you notice they then start to run over to Radio Cayman every other week or like 3 times a week or whatever. They're not fooling nobody. The people are a little bit more savvy and smarter than that these days. And we see you. And then when election time comes around and you try to switch up the narrative and the people, we can see you then as well. And I will hold every single one of them accountable, because I'm telling you, when it comes to elected officials, some of them should never be reelected. And some are one-term MPs, and I'm saying they should not get a second term. Yeah. Because they lie. Speaking of that topic, let me switch gears a little bit here. Let's talk about Kathy Wilkes. So, what a hot mess. Her brother was found in town. You guys knew when this happened. I think it was last week or the week before. Some kind of drug overdose. Him and his friend were passed out in their vehicle. Somebody else asked me what happened to Premiere Wednesdays. Honey child, your guess might be as good as mine. But we reported on this situation, not knowing obviously who it was. And then later on, people are like, oh my God, that's Kathy's brother. Now, let me be very, very clear. I don't know I don't know who her brother is, right? I don't know him. The story that I've heard is apparently he's had a lifelong addiction problem. And, we know from even on this show that addicts are, it's a very difficult situation to have to deal with an addict. So certainly no one has any expectations of her to control her brother. I don't know who's older, who's younger, I don't know what the situation is. So does it look bad on her? Well, it's not her fault that her brother's an addict and has been selling drugs allegedly and abusing drugs for a really long time. But, the sources said, oh, this is what it is. We put it exactly in quotes, who he was, how he's found, whatever. So somebody decided, I had to chuckle, to send a message, anonymous message to the real women of Cayman, like, oh, I want you to post this, saying how wrong it was of me to put up this post naming this individual, and I should be ashamed of myself. And this is what they said. Women of Cayman, I will be very surprised if this is actually posted. However, if it is, I commend the courage of administrators of the site. You see, they think that that's a tactic now. Like, oh, if we say it won't get posted, this is going to put the pressure on them to actually post it. Some of y'all are so simple-minded that it's like shocking. What would be the necessity of you even saying that? If your post has merits, I'm sure real women of Cayman ain't got nothing else to do. They're going to post it. Now, of course, they have to post anonymously, claiming that they're afraid. That's not the real reason. They post anonymously because they don't want to be held accountable for their thing. This could be Kathy sending this in. As far as we know, we don't know, right? So it's unfortunate that despite being an upstanding member of this society, I fear being publicly humiliated or retaliated against for making this post, hence why it's anonymous. No, honey child, you're not a upstanding member of this society. We don't know who you are because you're hiding anonymously behind a post. You could be his crack dealer. As far as we know, we don't know who you are. So don't be trying to put yourself in a particular light. But they go on to claim that they're afraid of us. They're afraid of the truth. My level of disgust and disgrace has reached a new level today. When I saw the latest post on CMR, why are you watching it is the first question I would ask. But anyway, where Miss Hill felt it necessary to quote an anonymous source and name someone in an alleged drug overdose where the individual was found unconscious. She also insinuated, based on the cover photo for the story, that the drug overdose was a result of an injectable illicit drug, heroin. Well, no one insinuated that. It was just a stock photo. But anyway, clearly they don't follow the platform too often. I'm not sure in what society this type of reporting is considered okay. All over the world, when somebody overdoses, they actually would name who they are. So let me tell you what society, America, the UK, all over. And if they're connected to anybody remotely, the brother of an MP, we just saw that in Jamaica the other day, got arrested for a cocaine bust. And what did his brother immediately do? Distance himself from his brother, because that's what sensible people do. But in the Cayman Islands, this type of reporting, where is this considered okay? Read the damn paper everywhere else in the world, and you'll see where it's considered okay. Okay? They go on to say that even if it was a drug overdose, what is the purpose of publicly shaming an individual who's more than likely already dealing with some very serious issues, really? So when a drug person kills somebody in a car, because obviously if you're passed out, that's a very likely possibility, right? When all of that happens on our public roads and it's your family member, you're going to be concerned about what serious issues this person is dealing with? Talking about if I wanted to do some real reporting on issues affecting Cayman, I should speak to ER physicians, paramedics, and pharmacists, or the police, get some actual data to report on. What kind of nonsense is this? You see, this is the foolishness that and then they go on to talk about how, we must start boycotting all their advertisers. Oh my God, I can't even with these people. Mind you now, for the record, make sure that you all know that we are the only news platform that has actually addressed this drug issue head on. Remember when we had the guy to come on and talk about addictions? The underlying cause of addictions? Who else has been doing that? So this person is saying we should do XYZ, and clearly they don't follow the platform. So they have no idea what we're actually doing. So this was my response, because they only got 3 people to like it and no comments. That says a lot. And I said, here's something to consider. When someone has been a longtime addict and dealer and then decides to do so in rush hour morning traffic on the waterfront, jeopardizing the lives of others, halting traffic, and in view of everyone else, maybe they just need the news reported straight. Meanwhile, we're the only ones who have discussed drug addiction from a clinical and addiction perspective, but you wouldn't know that because you don't actually follow us very closely, I would say, which is fine. You don't have to. Seems that 3 people who liked your post and shared your viewpoint are just as misinformed as you are. You mentioned being upstanding, but that doesn't equate to being knowledgeable. With over 104,000 followers, anyone who wishes to unfollow can. Had he killed one of your beloved ones whilst high, I wonder what your post would have been then. You see, stop tolerating foolishness. Now, I'm sure this is a family member of his. Oh, well, that's Kathy's brother. I don't care who he is. He could be the Queen's brother. Yeah. No one is immune from reporting on. And if you have the nerve and the audacity to be doing drugs in public where you literally pass out and they had to work on you for 15 minutes to bring you back in the middle of town, everybody can see it, everybody can record it. Our tourists coming off the cruise ship seeing that in Cayman. What about that impact? I noticed you don't care about any of that. You cared about some drug head. Right? He's a drug head. I've had his former crack clients call me and say, Sandy, what I was using, you know, there's a saying that if you sell the product, you don't mess with your own product. And he couldn't help himself. Y'all killing me for the truth? Right? I'm like, what? It's that same sort of thinking and mentality why we want to hide the child molesters in this. Oh, well, you know, this person's an upstanding person side. They're still a child molester. They're still playing with little boys and girls. They're still touching people in church and doing the most. They're still beating up their wives, breaking arms, doing this, doing that. I don't care whether you think you're an upstanding member of society or not. And the fact that you even have to say it makes me question whether you truly are. I tell you what, sometimes I just have to shake my head. Yes, Mark, don't get high off your own supply. And boy, when you start dipping in it, especially when it's the white stuff, I feel sorry for you. All right. Let's talk about this situation now with this captain. Speaking of addicts and people not really being held accountable, this captain fella who only got 7 years for killing 2 people in a boat accident. 7 years is not enough time. Not by any stretch of the imagination, folks. How can you kill 2 people and get a 7-year sentence? The problem here is our laws and our legislators need to get their act together. We have been talking about this for years now. And I am surprised that not a single MP has decided, because half of them drunk themselves, they got drunk brothers and sisters, like poor Kathy. So they never want to broach this issue because, oh no, half of my voters are actually crackheads. You know, I can't. This is how MPs think, yeah. Because some of them actually make it come out of their mouths. Just like the other day with raising or lowering the legal limit for alcohol, right? In line with what's acceptable elsewhere in the world. Do you know, I gotta give you all a little insight into politics, that the premier brought that to the table because he doesn't take credit for a lot of stuff that he does. And I think the premier needs to get on it now. Get on that bandwagon, sir. Pat yourself in the back because everybody else is doing it. And other MPs were not on board initially because they're going to lose votes. Because all their constituents, I guess what they're saying, are a bunch of drunks out there drinking and driving. So they would rather have people on the roads drinking and driving and killing you innocently and your family members and sometimes themselves if we're lucky, but not often enough, right? They would rather have that be the case than to man up or woman up and say, this is a problem. Look at the number of accidents that we have on our roadways that are directly linked to DUIs. So one way that we attach and attack this issue is to lower the limit. The other thing, which they haven't gotten to, and I don't know if they plan on doing it, is you increase the sentencing. You lower the limit, you catch more people, but you're not doing nothing to them. What sense does that make? Yeah. So at the end of the day, you could take the life because of a DUI in a boat, in a boating accident. horrifically kill 2 persons, and leave another woman who's gone back to Jamaica seriously injured with lifelong debilitating injuries, hanging on to life, probably not even got no money for her medical bills. And all you get is 7 years, which you'll serve 60% of? Wow. Something is wrong with the system. Sean Michael McDonald, 39 years old, is going to get 7 years. He's been sentenced now to 7 years. He killed John Turner, who was 70, and Emmanuel Manny Brown, who was 49 years old. Was also found guilty of endangering the life of Shamila Wright, who was seriously injured. 7 years is not enough. Right? We need the penalty for vehicular manslaughter to be a minimum of a 10-year sentence per person. So you kill 2, you're going away for 20 years. Can our legislators, as Mr. Saunders likes to say, grow some testicular fortitude, and this includes Mr. Saunders, and do something about stuff like this? How is this justice for the families? How is this justice for the deceased? And then on top of it, talk about con artists. He turns around and shuts down his company to try and not have any liability as it relates to having to even pay them. So he shuts down the company. So, oh, well, I ain't got no money. The company's now defunct, whatever. The lawyers of these family members have gone to court to try and get the company reinstated. So whatever assets the company may have had at the time of the incident, they can try and get something to help these poor people. Right? His insurance company now, they're stepping back. Oh, no. We don't want to pay out. 2 lives have been lost. You can't bring those people back. But at the very minimum, someone, their family members and others should feel like justice has been done. You need to go to jail for a substantial period of time, and you need to be compensated. The family members need to be compensated. So they talk about he suffered physical injuries and psychological harm. I don't give a damn what you suffered. It's your own fault. Who tell you to get sauced up and get drunk and then go behind the wheel of a boat late at night? And you know what the crazy thing is? I understand he's still drinking. If he's an addict and he has a problem, you go get yourself help. You don't do stupid stuff to endanger the lives of other people in the community. I remember when this accident happened, I was in such a state of disbelief when people started messaging me about the severity of this boat accident. And now we must care that you have you have physical injuries, psychological harm that you caused yourself? No, Bobo. I'm not business with that. That he's deeply sorry and has a medium risk of reoffending. Well, did the court hear that he can't even stop drinking? I doubt it, as usual. So they gave him consideration for all that and reduced it to 7 years and 7 months for 2 counts of manslaughter. Unbelievable. The sentence for endangering a life was reduced from 3 years by 6 months to 2.5 years. And talking about his mental health being monitored while he's in custody, honey child, please. Give him a bottle of Jack Daniel and apparently he'll cope just fine. Y'all don't need to monitor his mental health. You need to make sure that he gets professional help. So they said he was reportedly diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder and has been self-medicating with alcohol and undergoing counseling. He was self-medicating with alcohol before the accident. That's why the accident happened to begin with. So please, whatever his issues are, you need to dig a little bit deeper than this accident. Oh, I caused an accident and now I'm the one suffering from post-traumatic stress when I just killed 2 innocent people and mangled another one beyond repair? And the court must take sympathy on me? No. We need some better legislation than this. The judge's arms are tied, right? By sentencing guidelines. You can undo that tying of the hands by simply putting it in legislation. Minimum sentences, or this is a sentence range that should be covered. Make that go up higher. You take somebody's life with a car or a vessel or whatever, when you're under the influence, it should come with a in some countries, this would get you 20 years. Now, let me tell y'all something. This is how discouraged I am by this whole situation, right? Hold on one second. Let me get to the bottom of this. I'm going to tell y'all something here. So, Chris Lee, what are those celebrity people? They're off to jail now. Todd Chrisley and his wife, right? They both turned themselves in. And they're heading off to jail. They're so crazy. I see now she's claiming that she's dying of cancer. And Todd Chrisley says, oh, no, she's not. She goes to medical center because she claims that she's sick. These people just come up with some foolishness. Oh, anyway, the two of them have been given, they've reported to federal prison now to start their sentence. And Todd Chrisley is going to serve a 12-year sentence in Pensacola at FPC Pensacola, which is a minimum security facility. Still probably isn't where he should be, but anyway, it's at least jail. And then she's going to serve 7 years. And you know what? Their offenses were ones of a financial nature, defrauding banks of more than $30 million and fraudulent loans. Let me just understand this. You can defraud a bank. Yes, that's wrong, and you should go to jail. But in the United States of America, you defraud a bank, and you're going to get the exact same sentence that in the Cayman Islands, a man gets 7 years. Actually, the husband got 12 years, so even more, almost double, right? But someone in the Cayman Islands can get 7 years for taking the lives of 2 people, and you get 7 years in America for defrauding a bank. Let that sink in for a hard minute. This is when you know that something is wrong. Our sentencing guidelines need updating in the worst way. And the government should make it their business. They've got several lawyers who are part of this government. There's Juliana O'Connor Connolly. There is Kathy Wilkes. And there is, did Kathy ever do articles though? I don't know if she's actually a lawyer. I know she has a law degree. Did she ever complete her articles and stuff? Maybe. I don't even know. But let's just call her a lawyer for the sake of argument. And you've got Mr. Wayne Panton. Who else is a lawyer? Anybody else that I'm missing? Right? So at least 3 attorneys in the bunch. They should instruct the civil service, the DPP's office, instead of coming after me every minute, let's get you to do some real work, and review all of these sentencing guidelines to see which ones are in immediate need of being updated. They finally just updated the gambling law one because it was a $10 fine. The progressive government sat there for 15 years and didn't do nothing. $10 if you're caught for gambling. No wonder everybody came on gambling. Who cares? You can be running a gambling house and they got to charge you $10. It's like, really, dude? Update some of these sentences. It doesn't make any sense. This man should be facing a minimum of 15 to 20 years in jail. And I don't care if you're his friend. I don't care if you like him, if you're his drinking buddy, I'm not business. I'm business at what is the right thing in the circumstances. He's suffering from PTSD. Oh, bless his little heart. At least he's alive to be able to suffer from PTSD. 2 people are dead. You understand that? Nobody to bring them back. Y'all can still go visit him in prison. Take him cigarettes. He can sit down now all day and watch TV on the taxpayers' money. He'll get psychological attention on the taxpayers' money. All right, folks. Tomorrow, I need to talk about a taxi cab situation that I am very aware of. That's going to take a minute to dissect and to break down. But I have some gift certificates this morning. Okay, apparently I'm off air. Oh, I was going to give away a prize. Should I wait till tomorrow at the beginning of the show so people can actually hear it? Yes, that's what I'm going to do, to be fair to everybody. So we got some gift certificates from Burger King, and we got some scratch off cards. Now I know y'all gonna like this, honey chill, because you can win. Listen, there's still 6 more prizes out there for $1,400 for, what is it, 1980, 1984, whatever the year is. What's 40 years ago? They're giving away that, and they've already done a whole bunch. I think they're doing 10 prizes in total of that amount, and then some smaller prizes. So we have some scratch off cards to give. Now, wouldn't that be amazing if one of our scratch off cards is actually a winner of like the big prize? Woohoo! Honey, yeah, why not? So this is what I'm gonna do. I am going to give out some of these scratch off cards tomorrow. So be ready. Jonathan, get ready for tomorrow. Make sure you tune in early, and we'll give some away. I'll do a couple trivia questions, Burger King related, maybe. And just to make sure that you're genuinely paying attention. Sounds like a good idea. All right, honey chill. Carol, yes, just the radio feed. I think they're restarting something. They're restarting a computer, whatever. So Karen says, so if these folks got that sentence, what would Mr. John get if he's bipolar? Who's John? Mark says, why was it that the court allowed him to close down the company when he's in court? Well, the court doesn't allow you to close it down. You just, I don't know if he put it in official liquidation. I don't kind of think so. He can just go cancel his business license, I guess. And from the registrar's perspective, just not renew it. I don't know if he didn't renew it, if he actually went and canceled it entirely. I have to look at that document again. But, you know, even not paying your fees will allow you to be struck off. And this is a shadiness that is Mr. Felder. Oh, I don't know if he's not bipolar, child. He's just con artist. So that would allow you to and the court doesn't have anything to do with that process, right? So I mean, there's so many disjointedness in the whole system. It's just crazy. Miss Olive says, good morning, Sandy. My husband is upset with you because you were off for 3 days and I wake up early. I don't wake up early, so he didn't get no breakfast. What? Listen here now. You can't be not feeding your husband because CMR is not on air, girl. What you mean? Say what? Your poor husband. Tell him he can get breakfast tomorrow. Mark says, what about the reckless manslaughter? Apparently covers situations where the defendant's act or omission. Yeah, I mean, my point is it's on the books, but it needs to be, the sentencing attached to it needs to be increased. So I don't know. All right. So hopefully by tomorrow we can sort out whatever was going on with the radio feed today. I appreciate you guys very, very much tuning into the program. And we'll be back tomorrow. And yeah, we got lots to talk about. Oh, he did get breakfast this morning. Yes. A score for the husband. He got to eat this morning. Good for him. All right, my good people. Thank you. Tomorrow, I need to talk about a situation with taxi drivers. I've had a number of complaints about this new Uber-like service. It's actually not Uber at all. And so people are just confused because of a headline in the Compass, apparently, and something else that was published, or somebody else put up a post referring to it as Uber. So we're going to clarify it. We're going to get it all sorted out for you guys so that you can understand exactly what it is. So Mark says in the UK, it's 1 to 18 years. Miss Carol says, when do you go on air? So we are here every single morning, Miss Carol, 7:30 a.m. bright and early until normally 10. Yeah. Sometimes we go a little bit into overtime, but I try to schedule my appointments after that time. So thank you guys very, very much for tuning in. I'm back. No more planned trips anytime soon. So I think we're good to go. So please stay tuned to a few news alerts from Kevin Watler. Have a fantastic day. And I'll see you guys back here tomorrow morning at 7:30 a.m.
Hello, I'm Kevin Watler, and this is your CMR Daily Buzz. Here's a summary of some of Cayman's latest headlines. The Ministry of Health and Wellness said it is aware of the circulation of a false news story stating flight restrictions have been put in place in the Cayman Islands due to a new COVID-19 variant. The Department of Environmental Health is seeking the patience and understanding of Cayman Brac residents as garbage collection services in the sister island experience delays. The delay is due to a series of mechanical failures as well as an accident with a loaded garbage truck earlier this month. The Cayman Islands Red Cross thrift shop in Georgetown has seen an increase in theft and burglaries recently. People have entered the property, raided donations, and left a mess, including human excrement and urine. The Department of Environment is warning people to be on the lookout for Brazilian purple trees, which are toxic to both skin and eyes. Now for your CMR weather update, it's brought to you by WG Charters. Sunrise just after 7. Some clouds in the morning will give way to mainly sunny skies for the afternoon. Now when the temperature is at 82 degrees Fahrenheit and humidity at 65% like the forecast calls for, it will feel like it's in the mid-80s. Winds east at 10 to 20 miles per hour and the sun sets at 6:09. At nighttime, the temperature falls to the low to mid-70s. Looking forward, similar weather conditions are expected. If you would like to know more on any of these stories, visit caymanmallroad.com or follow Cayman Mall Road on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube. That's it for now on the Daily Buzz, but thank you for joining me. Please stay safe and God bless.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of The Cold Hard Truth on Bobo 89.1 FM. Cayman's #1 talk show is live weekdays from 7:30 a.m. Never miss an episode again. Watch anytime on CMR's Facebook and YouTube channels for the latest show episodes. Don't forget to follow us online on our social media channels. And visit CaymanMarlRoad.com for all the latest news and community happenings.